The sadistic singer would not be able to be released until he was close to 100 years old if the proposal were to be accepted. U.S. federal prosecutors have asked a judge to sentence disgraced singer R. Kelly to an additional 25 years in prison for his child pornography and enticement convictions in Chicago. Disgraced R and B singer R. Kelly, who is serving a 30-year sentence for sex offenses, was found guilty of child pornography charges in September. If the judge grants both the additional term and another government request for Kelly to start serving his Chicago sentence only after his present 30-year New York sentence is over, the 56-year-old won't be eligible for release until he is about 100. In their sentencing recommendation filed on Thursday in U.S. District Court in Chicago, prosecutors described Kelly's behavior as sadistic, calling him a serial sexual predator with no remorse and who poses a serious danger to society. The only way to ensure Kelly does not reoffend is to impose a sentence that will keep him in prison for the rest of his life, the 37-page government filing says. Kelly's sentencing in Chicago is set for Thursday next week. Kelly lawyer Jennifer Bonjean wrote in a filing last week that even with his existing 30-year New York sentence, Kelly would have to defy all statistical odds to make it out of prison alive. She cited data that the average life expectancy of inmates is 64. She recommended a sentence of around 10 years at the low end of the sentencing guidelines range and said it should be served simultaneously with the New York sentence. In arguing for the lesser sentence, Bonjean alleged Kelly, who is black, was singled out for behavior that she said white rock stars have gotten away with for decades. None have been prosecuted and none will die in prison, she wrote. Prosecutors acknowledged that a 25-year sentence in the Chicago case would be more time than even sentencing guidelines recommend. But they argued imposing a long sentence and instructing it be served only after the New York sentence was appropriate. A consecutive sentence is eminently reasonable given the egregiousness of Kelly's conduct, the filing argued. Kelly's sexual abuse of minors was intentional and prolific. At the trial in Chicago last year, jurors convicted the Grammy Award-winning singer on 6 of 13 counts. Both of Kelly's co-defendants, including longtime business manager Darryl McDavid, were acquitted of all charges. Prosecutors at Kelly's federal trial in Chicago portrayed him as a master manipulator who used his fame and wealth to reel in star-struck fans to sexually abuse, in some cases to video record them, and then discard them. The Chicago verdict came months after a federal judge in New York sentenced Kelly to 30 years in prison for racketeering and sex trafficking. Based on that sentence alone, he wouldn't eligible for release until he is around 80. Even if granted time off for good behavior, Kelly would only be eligible for release if he serves 25 years after the New York sentence in the year 2066, the government's Thursday filing said. It will be up to Judge Harry Lynn in Chicago to decide the crucial question of whether Kelly serves whatever sentence he imposes concurrently, simultaneously, with the New York sentence or consecutively. Kelly's legal team is appealing his New York and Chicago convictions. In an effort to guarantee that, even if some convictions are eventually overturned, the prisoners sentenced at earlier trials will still serve some time in prison, prosecutors occasionally push for lengthy terms for those defendants. According to Bonjean, Kelly's lifelong traumas including child maltreatment and adult illiteracy justified compassion in the singer's punishment. Kelly, according to her, is not an evil monster, but a complex, undeniably tormented human being who encountered immense problems in childhood that molded his adult life. Kelly has already paid a high price for his legal issues, she continued, including a financial one. She claimed that he was formerly valued close to $1 billion, but is now